Alrighty, guys. I know I am absolutely supposed to be on what I was, and I had forgotten to change the title. I should have waited to start the stream, and I should have put it 4 o'clock instead. But it's whatever it is. But we are live now. And trust me, a lot of the stuff that I do want you guys to know is that I talk a lot. How I am very much second to a lot of things, pervy to what I have actually am kind of really highlighting in today's stream, to be honest. You know, I highlight a lot of video games and stuff. But today, this and I will load the most recent. I have decided that I'm going full international with this run. With this one, I am not going to use anything other than the international. And so, some trucks you can't get without going through the used market. And today's title is going to be literally. I do get political, and I do a lot of that. But I am only doing it today, and a lot of what I do is I actually drive. I'm sticking to international as much as I can, but since we're here in Eugene, let's go to check our external contracts and check up on our normal Eugene going to Logan, Utah, Jackpot, Nevada for that one. I want to see if we got anything. So the highest rated is this forklift. Now of course this forklift is the longest one here in Eugene. It's going from Seabear all the way down into Vernal. But if we do this one, I want to try to stay in Oregon. Try to stay in Oregon for a little bit. Eugene, taking pallets to Lakeview, Oregon. Have we been to any? That's taking paper down to Pendleton, Oregon, which we haven't been to yet, so let's do that one. Of course, a lot of you guys are probably not gonna want to hear what I have to say and stuff, and I know. And I'm not doing a total restore on this. I'm just going to keep it the way that this vehicle is, and all I did was just to upgrade a few things, change a few things around on this. You guys probably seen it in the last episode, of course. You know, but you know, one of those things that I wanted to really share with you guys is like, yeah, it's like, I'll tell you, like, I'm in no way, any way, shape, or form am I absolutely supportive of a lot of the things that are going on, of course, and there's more that I wanted to. Okay, see where we're going. But it's one of those things where, you know, you talk about, you know, Trump wants to make you forget about the Epstein files, makes you want to really get away from these files, and it's like, I am sorry if you think that in any way, shape, or form that, you know, the Epstein files, like, oh, and I'm gonna tell you, it's like, one of those things that I always, hold on, guys, I'm gonna do a thing real quick. It's a little too obnoxious. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. It's just that little bit of that sun glare. Just cause it's still kind of somewhat dark in the game, so. But it's one of those things where, you know, you look at him wanting to get rid of it, and it's like he's gone in and he took a speech in today, and Trump's speech basically, you know, I'm gonna get into it right away because there are people who are gonna be watching this in the back that are in the back end of things. You know, I don't like to talk about a lot of, like, I like to talk about, I have not been in, like I said, I normally don't talk about it a lot, I usually don't. But this is one of those things where, you know, I actually do get into it more now than I did, like, 5 years ago, to be honest. Like, 5 years ago, I was kind of like, you know, before, I didn't know who Midas Touch was. 5-6 years ago, I didn't know who they were. You know, I listened to probably, I don't know when I started subscribing to left-leaning media on YouTube. I don't know when I started doing that, of course. But one of the things that Trump wants you to do is he wants you to forget about these files that I don't get it why that's He wants to make you forget about him, and you should never, in any way, shape, or form, forget about these files. And it's like, look, whether you are a Trump supporter or not, I want you to know that you know, getting away from these files is one thing that you know, you should never get away from them. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna tell you, like, if this was going on, you know, and this was a Biden thing, or this was a Kamala Harris thing, or this was some Barack Obama or whatever, I would still end up having the exact same thing if this was going on. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that, but normally I try to do my best on that. And it's like, what I will tell you is, like, one of the things that I really focus on with a lot of things is, you know, it doesn't matter if somebody is going against the, you know, you look at these files, you know, nobody, I'm going to tell you, like, I am somebody that does not go out and subjugate myself to, you know, if I've done something wrong, I'm going to own up to it. I'm going to make sure I correct my mistake. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I give Biden or anybody. Same treatment. If they're not going to own up to their mistakes, they're not going to correct those mistakes, they're going to double down and lie about this. They're going to make it all lies and deceitfulness. And you're going to lie about whatever. And I'm like, I'm not going to be there for you anymore. I'm going to stop listening to you. I'm not going to believe in what you want to believe, what you have to say. If you're going to continue to lie and consistently double down on the lie, or basically say you're gonna do one thing but then you backtrack and do another and you just continue to do it, you're gonna at some point I'm gonna take and look at you and be like, you are no way, in any way, shape, or form, am I gonna support you as a human being. Because it's like you continue to double down on things, and you're gonna continue to take away the thing that you said that you were going to do. You were gonna release the Epstein files, you were gonna release this, you were gonna release that. You're going to, you know, and it's one of those things where, you know, you're gonna continue to do something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna let that red light violation exist. It's dumb. And it's one of those things where I look at the life that I spend and the things that I choose to follow, and it's like my morals is basically if I made a mistake, I'm trying my best to be better about it. I'm not perfect, nobody is, but you know, if you are out there and you said you're gonna release these, there's evidence you're gonna release them, and then you decide not to release the Epstein files, you're nowhere in any way, shape, or form, and it's like today, it's like he wanted to blatantly get you away from these Epstein files, and it's like, thank you, Elyson VTuber, for joining. Thank you for the beautiful follow. Thank you. And it's one of those things where, you know, getting rid of these files and getting rid of these things to just blatantly hide from it by basically saying that, oh, we're gonna reduce the medication. Now he's basically now saying that, oh, he's gonna reduce the medication by 1,000%, or reduce the prices by 5,000 or whatever, and it's like, okay, then why'd you get rid of Biden's thing to basically curtail drug prices? And you know, you're curtailing these things, and it's like you're no way, shape, or form in any way going to be this person that if you consistently hide from that fact that you are out there hiding the subsequent truth. Sorry guys, I gotta do a thing. I forgot to you know, it's like now they're going after Obama for and just like, it's like now they want to like anything. Sorry, I got a thing that says "Toast breaking." This is breaking, of course. You know, this comes from Brian Tyler Cohen, but basically now they're Tulsi Gabbard's basically now saying she's referring President Barack Obama to Department of Justice for criminal prosecution, and I'm like, you're going to do that for what? You know, for what end? Okay, why can't I get TikTok to work? Thank you. The search function was being stupid on my end. And it's like you guys don't understand that a lot of the stuff that it's the same thing. It's where I try my best to be perfect in my life, and I try to be perfect in a lot of things. And it's hard to be perfect in a society that sometimes doesn't always, you don't always get the same thing that, you know, you get in society. Like, you're expected to go to society, and, you know, sometimes there are times where society's gonna pressure you into doing something you don't want to do. And that happens. And, you know, just being somebody who who is transgender, of course, me being that, it's like sometimes they'll pressure you to basically go back in the closet. They'll pressure you to do a lot of things and go against who you are, and they want you taken away because they see that it's wrong. And sometimes yeah, it's wrong to see things like to see the left or see the right or see anybody going, like, you look at the right and they go in and they make it out that something goes wrong with Biden. They take it for a whole month and do that. It's like, we need to, here on the left, it's like, I'm going to continue to talk about the Epstein files. I'm going to continue to talk about those things, the things that Trump said he was going to do and that Trump didn't do. And it's just like, and it's like the same thing. It's like, you need to stop and think. If you don't like a certain content, like, let's say you don't want to watch the certain content, like the adult industry, for example. Like, you don't like that, but yet you are, allowing it to happen because they basically have gotten rid of the, Trump basically got rid of the thing to allow for, the handling of trafficking of children, and taking that opportunity to take it away, and he wants you to distance yourself from the Epstein files, which is pretty much the same thing that basically was adult oriented in minors. And it's like, because, you know, I'm trying to dance around it with TikTok, of course. You guys know what I'm talking about when I talk about these things. It's like you can't just go out there and believe that what you hear and what you see. Like, the evidence is gonna always, like, you may think that what's wrong now, like, you see that it's wrong against that, where you see that these files don't get released. Well, guess what? At some point, even if these files don't get released, and, you know, let's say that none of this happens, well, guess what? And they want you to distance yourself from it. They say it's, you know, and then, but just remember, there's always going to be that one person in this whole situation that's not going to forget about these things. You know, God's going to remember some of those things. God's going to remember some of the things that goes on with what goes on. He's going to remember more than anybody else. And sometimes we may forget about these things because, you know, it happens to be that way. And it's like, you can't just leave. can't just go out there and expect everything to be the absolute truth in all of this. Okay, so this is going to Seattle, which I don't want to do. So let's go to the right here. But it's like you look at the stuff that goes on and the stuff that tends to really be bad on a lot of society. It's just like you look at the left, you look at the right, you look at the center, you look at anything. If something goes haywire with one side of the party, you know, mainly if the left goes haywire with something that's scandalous, the right goes after them for, like I said earlier, months and months and months. And it's just like, you're going to continue to alienate something that's in the past now. You can stop it, and just, you know, if something comes up later in life, then okay, fine. If something, you know, it happens. We all make mistakes. We all have to learn from those mistakes. We can't just force people to do everything right. You know, nothing's ever going to be perfect in society, and that's the truth. You know, but at the same time, you know, if you take a look at somebody's social media from like 15, 20 years ago that they posted something back in the day, for example, like, you know, somebody posts a photo of them being naughty on the internet, or posted something because they said something bad about the company, and it's like 15 years ago that person basically said, well, this company's a bad company because of their things, and they say these things, and, you know, that person, then they come back, and it's like, you look at the company, and it's like, well, the company's doing better now than they were 15 years ago, but that bites them in the butt because they can't get hired because they said something bad about the company. And it's like, what? It's like you can't rely on 15 years ago. Now, of course, if somebody said something a year ago or 2 years ago about something, and they've done something that heinous and whatever, and you're working for, okay, that's different. That's different than somebody going back and looking at something 15 years ago when they could have changed from 15 years ago. So it's like you need to stop thinking about being appropriated for listening to content from somebody. You know, if you take a look at, you look at Hunter Biden, like, okay, but that was in the past. That changed. Like, people change. People can change. People can change to be the better for themselves. It's like, today when, Hunter was going after for this, and it's like, well, he's going after the Trump administration because in his speech he was talking about how, yes, he was using a lot of colorful words and a lot of colorful things to do it, and I'm one of those people that don't try to do it very often. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean that I don't. But I'm gonna tell you, it's like you look at what he said. He basically said what's built on the backbones of our nation. Who's out there when you go out to a hotel, or you go out to go eat? There are, or you go out and buy these things, this food and this thing. You're out there giving people who may be working $4 or $5 an hour for at these farms. They're building the backs of our nation. The immigration are giving us that backbone. The nation is giving us that opportunity for us to, you know, we may not, like, I'll tell you, like, not everything is fantastic, not everything is great, not everything is going to be fantastic within the choices that we end up making. You know, we make pretty poor decisions in our lives, and sometimes that can bite us in the butt, and you know, but the one thing that's hurting us right now in this nation is the immigrants being taken away. The things that, you know, we, like, look, do I want to go out and work on a farm? If I had to, yeah, of course I probably would, but I'd prefer not to. I'd prefer to actually work on cleaning or doing something that, you know, and you look at that and it's like, most people don't realize that there are people out there that you don't see every day cleaning your stores, cleaning your restaurants, cleaning your businesses, that, you know, you don't see them, and they're working for probably next to nothing, or sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes they do work a little bit more. Yeah, I meant to grab the photo mode. But it's like, it's the same thing. It's as like, I always look at this and I'm like, you know what? There are going to be people out there that are just going to choose to continue to find ways to basically argue and argue to death to the point. It's like people don't have common decency anymore. There are sometimes, like, I don't have common decency sometimes either. I'm not perfect, but it's gotten a lot worse than probably saying 30 years before I was born. You know, today there's less decent people. I always forget the headlight thing. I never pay attention to the time. I just let the game sometimes comments give me offenses because I always forget. You know, the headlight issue thing, it's like, it's still somewhat daylight out that I can still see. It's like, what's the point? But it's like one of those things where, you know, and it's like, you go out and you look at the market of, you know, of gas. It's like, you look at $5, like $1.99 in 5 states. I'm like, keep dreaming, keep dreaming. It may be that somewhere it's $1.99 somewhere in these states, but averagely, like, it's like it's going to be unobtainable for some people to actually even get gas at $2 a gallon. And it's like $2 a gallon. Like $2 a gallon is like nothing compared to, you know, but it's like, yeah, there are places where it might be a little bit lower, where it might be like like, you know, it's like you look at it and it's like in the current location where I'm at, it's like 276 for a gallon of gas, and it's like, it's like, what, for, you're gonna say that you're gonna pay this much for that, and it's like $1 whatever for gas, and I'm like, okay, in your world, Donald, it's like you have no clue. I want you to go and actually show. I want you to go to these places that have that $1.99 and show me, because in reality, it's like I have not seen anywhere where, you know, there's $1.99 somewhere. And the only place it's going to be is mostly in the Midwest, and even then, in the Midwest, you're going to find something in backwater, you know, place that might have for like $1.99, but it might just be in one place in that city, but an average, that state, like an average, the states don't have a $1.99 on average. If it was an average of $1.99, I would be happy. I'd be jumping for joy that if every state had that, where everybody could go out and travel and be that way. But guess what? A lot of times they'd be paying $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 a gallon because they can get away with paying prices like that. They can get away with it. They can do a lot of things to do it. Just the same thing with like medical expenses. It's like Donald Trump basically says he's gonna cut medical expenses by 1,000%, or 5,000 or whatever on your medical, on your pills, and it's like, okay. We got 6 hours there. We got 47 minutes left on this. It's like, what's the point on this when you can't even tell me that you think that you're going to be able to get away with a lot of these things, and it's not. And it's like it's like this administration does not care about anything but himself. And if he's been told one day that he's going to reduce the cost, but the next day he's going to flip-flop and he's going to say, well, I'm not going to reduce the cost. It's the same thing with those tariffs. Basically, one day he's going to relinquish the tariffs, the next day he's going to put the tariffs back on, and the next day he's going to take them off, take them back on, and take them off, and take them back on. And it's like, that's why we have an unstable economy, because of it. You know, yes, it might be, we might have better things in our life, in our society. you can't just rely on X, Y, or Z for anything. You can't rely on one person to tell you the news. You can't rely on Fox News. You can't rely on and like I said, I don't listen to Fox News anymore. I used to I will say it's not that I don't listen to Fox News. It's like I should say I used to actually listen to a lot of CNN and places like that where, you know, but I just kind of listen to news from those places. But I'm gonna tell you, it's like I don't listen to CNN anymore. I don't listen to the mainstream CBS or NBC as much as I used to. You know, I'm being honest. Like, occasionally I will come in and pop in and watch a CBS thing, but some days I just don't want to watch it because I just don't want to hear what CBS has to say, because CBS isn't telling me anything that I want to hear from, you know, about Donald Trump. They do, but then they occasionally talk about it, and then they kind of skirt by and not talk about it at all, and then it's just ridiculous, you know. You know, so I just kind of like, you know, and I just kind of also not very much into a lot of the news. I just kind of mainly listen to CBS. Now, the only time I did listen to CBS and where I only listened to them I only listened to it is because I didn't always get the news that I wanted. You know, when it was 2018, 2019, pretty much right around that time frame. And it's just like, a lot of people think that I am kind of telling the truth, or people will say I'm not telling the truth. It's like, well, you have to make that own informed decision. It's the same thing. It's like, you don't go and watch Fox News just to go and watch Fox News. Okay, don't watch Fox News just to get the news. Fox News isn't going to tell you the whole truth. It's like, you go and you make your own informed decisions. Don't believe what your parents tell you. Don't. No, photo mode, thank you. Okay. Did I go and deliver this at the wrong point? Was I supposed to get off at a certain point and I just wasn't paying attention? Now I know the trucks are telling me I have to use a certain... I can able to turn around. To the other end, I will. So I can save myself some time. By doing this. Second grade. Like, normally I wouldn't do that in real life. If I missed my turn, I would have basically said, okay, hey, I'm gonna be a little bit late, I missed my turn to get off. But this time I don't have to go to the way station. Mars company. Even got one from McDonald's. Interesting that we have at least one for that McDonald's. Thanks Mason. Thanks Mason for joining the TikTok live. Thank you. And it's just like, you know, but of course, you know, it's just like, it's the same thing that comes around. It's like, you don't agree with something, you're fine to speak your mind and speak it how you want to speak it, and choose how you like speaking your mind, and it's okay. I don't care that people do that. I just don't. I'm just like, if you're out there speaking on the right, and there are people out there that want to listen to it, go for it. If you want to speak that way, but just remember, I'm not going to go out there and speak to you if you are going to believe and follow the left or follow the right and believe that Donald Trump is the person. It's like today, it's like I used to believe, you know, I used to believe in the Republicans. I used to be a Republican myself. And I'm gonna tell you, it's like I switched because of the issues going on with, you guessed it, Donald Trump. Like, that could use save on energy when there should be only one light here. There are some times where light should only be one instead of two. And you see 3 there, and you see 2 there. It's like, well, I understand the 3 thing there. I just don't understand why there has to be 2 there when there should only need. It's like sometimes ingenuity and in design. Now, of course, if you have 2 lights there, and then you don't have to worry about changing it again. Again, but it's whatever it is. Thanks Joe W for joining the TikTok live. Thank you. But you can't just go out there and believe left, right, center. Don't just believe in one place, or you know, don't just rely on your Charlie Kirk's, your place of on it, because not everything is going to be told to you through the lens of having one person, and you can't just rely on left. You can't just rely on the right. You have to make sure that you rely on the left and the right. You can't, because remember, if you look at the right, they're going to tell you one way, and the left is going to tell you another way, and then you can go do your own research. There's a Denny's. There's a Burger King. There. There, and okay. So I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, and I know that, you know, you got Midas Touch out there. You got Midas Touch telling you this, and Midas Touch is actually a fantastic place. It's just when I come in, I'm always, no, it's not the Midas. It's not the Midas that Midas. It is Midas as in M-E or M-I-E. on it. Alright, let's go across the place. Power. There, we'll get some rest. Okay. Because I don't want to drop in. I always check both sides to see where I can get the best. Bullet ton to burns. And that's going to Lakeview. That one takes about there. We got Coast Bay, we got Bend, and we got Medford. And Burns have not been visited yet. Oh, we haven't. Astoria has not been visited either. Gonna cost a bay on this one. It's got the most. We're gonna try to visit every place in Oregon right now, so. So we'll see how things go, but and I'm gonna tell you guys, like, I'm gonna start doing two different I'm gonna have two different things that I'm gonna tell you guys today. As I'm gonna start having the topics that I'm gonna talk about, and then I'm gonna change the title after the fact. So when you see it in me being live, it's gonna be me changing a lot of things. Okay, yeah, we're going that way to gather this. This is ridiculous having to travel this far, but I think it's good enough that I will be fine. Okay, so 40 now, here. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go to 45 at some point. But we'll see. Today I've made a lot of mistakes today. In a lot of the decision. I mean, a lot of people aren't going to be interested in me wanting to talk about politics and stuff. And of course, there are going to be times where, you know, and trust me, I am on Linux. I have absolutely no remorse in being here. just to make it a little bit more so that we can go through and visit every place in Oregon. Thanks, Howdy, for joining the TikTok live thing. Thank you. You know, yesterday, like I said, like one of the things I said yesterday, I'm gonna say it again. You know, for those of you who may not have seen the thing, and this is not part of the topics, of course. But for some of you may have seen we've got to make wide turns for this. But I will tell you, it's like of course we're gonna have to keep an eye on that end and that end because we are having to do long because usually triple trailers I usually have to do it longigated like this, but I'm gonna be honest, you know, losing somebody of somebody that has importance, you know, like Ozzy Osbourne. There are it's one of those things where I care a little bit, but it's not like I don't care completely. It's like I'm somebody that, you know, yes, I like Ozzy for some of his songs. You know, I liked Ozzy after the fact of I did not like Black Sabbath as much, but I loved Ozzy for it, and I liked Ozzy as a person of importance. He was one of those that brought us the metal music that we know today. You know, when somebody says that they don't like metal music, and you know, like Glass, he says, "Oh, I don't like listening to that metal music." Well, then, don't listen to Ozzy Osbourne, because Ozzy Osbourne is a kind of somebody, the godfather of metal. You listen to Metallica because they're kind of a metal band. You listen to some of those things, it's like they're metal. It's like, okay, Dragon Force, all Dragon Force, and you look at the different genres. It's like Dragon Force is another group of metal musicians. There's a lot of metal musicians out there that have been inspired probably by Ozzy, you know, like Archer and and it's gonna be one of those things where yeah, we got a lot of good artists out there, got a lot of good music, and and a lot of it, and it's like, okay, just because you don't like listening to certain things, remember, metal music is different. Okay, metal, there's this thing of you get a few of these different musicians out there. Okay, there's many different rock genres. Okay, there is, you got pop rock, you got rock, you got hard rock, you got, those are just the main ones. Because pop rock is more, it leans towards in the pop, but it's also kind of got a little bit of that. You got the hard rock. Then you go into metal, and you've got melodic metal. You've got death metal. You've got hard metal. You got regular metal, and then not only do you got heavy music like that, you've got so much different music and so much genre. There's many different forms of pop. Hip hop is a form of rap and pop together. There's it's one of those things where there's you got like blues, jazz, you've got like so much music out there. You got retrowave. Retrowave is a form of techno, using a lot of technology and using things from like the 80s to make it sound more like bringing it into modern. So it's like a retro feeling, but bringing stuff like that. That can also be considered pop, because a lot of this music, there's going to be a lot of variety that is out there. Okay. Now, of course, why is it telling me to do that when I'm already going through? But it's one of those things where I just tend to, and you also got like, and then you got like these forms of pop music like K-pop, and not only K-pop, but you got language, Japanese, J-pop, and a lot of different things. It's like all it is just different music. Like you'll go look at pop, it's like, okay, well, there's many different languages out there. You got Spanish, you got Latino music. It's like, look, I don't listen to a lot of Latin music because it's just not my cup of tea. And it's like, okay, and it's not mine, but it's like there are people out there that enjoy listening to Spanish music, listening to music from that kind of country. To me, I listen to a little bit of everything that's American, and I've kind of branched out a little bit into Japanese. I listen to a little bit of Dutch music. It's not like and it's not like I don't listen to some Korean music too. I just don't listen to a lot of music that if I can't understand the words, or it's just not like music that I can. Like, it always feels like there's Latin music, there's just that type of music that just doesn't quite sit well with me. It doesn't mean that I don't listen to, like, Shakira, or listen to, people that are in that. It's like I go look at Japan. Well, guess what? I listened to a guy from Japan called, Hyde. Hyde speaks English and Japanese, and I listen to both. know, I listen to a variety of music that, you know, there may be times where music may be better than in some countries than others, and sometimes, you know, there's music for everybody to enjoy, everybody to listen to. You know, like there are bands that are not American bands, but are British bands. You know, that I listen to. It's, you know, it's like there's cultural things where it might be cultural things to say something in certain things. You know, there's like dialects. It's like you think English is a thing. Well, yeah, English is a thing, but you go and you look at places like England or UK, and you listen to them, and it's like, okay, well, UK is basically the same thing. You know, you listen to them, it's like you might be able to understand some of the things that they're saying, but you won't understand everything. And it's like you go look at, you know, you go to the UK, and then like British English, and then you got British English, you got American English, and then you got Australian English, and it's like all three different talk about different locations for it. And it's like you go to these places, and you'll believe, and some of the things that you go out there and listen, it's like, okay, well, I go out there and listen to these two different languages. It's just like you go to China, there's two different Chinese languages. There's, you know, Japanese. Like, there's dialects that you may not have dialect for. Actually, you may not have a dialect for. In Japan, you might not have a dialect, and sometimes, like you listen to some of the Japanese, like there's some English and Japanese together, and it's like, okay, well, that's because there might not be something to say in that phrase in Japanese and stuff. It's like you go and you look at, you know, there are gonna be there's Canadian French, and then there's probably regular French. There's like Spanish. You got, you know, you got Mexican Spanish, and you got Spain Spanish. Like there's different interchangeable for some of these things. Some of these words might be interchangeable for, and it's like, you know, not everything is going to be there to give you that sense of the choice that, you know, you might be able to understand some of these languages, but not every language is perfect. You know, you go and you study French, well, guess what? You want to study French, well, guess what? You can do that. You can study a language through YouTube, through Duolingo, through TikTok, through Facebook, through whatever platform. You can learn a language, experience a language, and have the opportunity to learn and grow and have the extent of what I can learn. And, you know, it's like, it's konnichiwa, it's Japanese. I forget what it means right now, but it's like, you know, it's like bye-bye means bye-bye. Like, but bye-bye there is B-A-I. B-A-I is the same thing as bye-bye. It's like, sometimes you can get some languages, it will translate easily. Some of these things, like, you look at it, sometimes you might be able to understand what they're saying when you say bye-bye. Bye-bye. It's like sometimes you can get some of these languages might be out there that, you know, you go and you look at, thank you. have to stop here. And so it's like you might think you know, like, you know, you go to Iceland, you're supposed to speak Icelandic, but not always. It's like you go to Russia and there's like Russian, like you got the Russian language, but then there's Ukrainian, and there's some things similar to it. So it's like when I look, it's like, that just to me seems like you're Russian and I don't want to talk to you. And, you know, thanks Gary Simpson for joining the TikTok live, of course, thank you. It's one of those things where, you know, we have where we have multiple languages out there that tell us, hey, you know, there's these multiple times that you go out there and you're experiencing a language that sometimes, you know, it's the learning of it is sometimes will be easier if you know how to speak Spanish, and going in and learning how to speak Spain Spanish. You know, when you go and learn that, it's like, okay, that's easy to learn when you go and speak Spanish. Speak Spanish, you can pick up some of the things and learn, and some things will may be a little bit different. And you can learn a language just by experiencing the language and experiencing the opportunity of, okay, that language there, and sometimes there is a language barrier to some things, and it's just nice that you can learn in general, learning a thing, and I'll tell you, learning a little bit about learning some of these languages, like 9 means the same thing, okay? But you look at 9 and you're coming in and it's like, you wouldn't know that 9 means no in German, okay? There are times where you might not know that there's a language that sometimes there's a derivative of English language that might mean something else in another language. You know, it's like Portuguese and you know, Portuguese. It's like you might be able to learn something in Portuguese and that might be Spanish related, or might learn something French that's that way. But it's like you can't just go out there and say you rely on. You can't go out there and rely on learning a single thing in life and go out there and like, okay, I want to learn go out and learn and learn from many different ways of actually understanding of culture and stuff. And you can't just go out and say, oh well, you have it nice here, we know everything. You don't, like, a lot of people think that you know the language, like you know kind of like you expect to go out into these countries, like you go out to like, say, Germany or out there, and it's like you're saying, oh well, drinking age is 21. Well, drinking age is 20. Drinking age should be 20. It's like you're forcing that on somebody when their drinking age is 16. They're allowed to drink outside, but you know, they don't have a lot of And it's like you... So yeah, we are going to go through Salem. Now we could go to Astoria, go through Astoria, but it's not. We're going to go down due to Salem, so we got to stick to that there. But it's knowing cultures and experiencing cultures from learning. It's like, look, I have learned at least a couple of places outside of the United States that I have learned, and I am learning, at least three states. I'm learning a little bit about their culture and learning about their things. Like I learn a little bit about, learned a little bit about Japan. I learned a lot about Japan, more than I learn about, the Netherlands or learning about the Canada. And only because I'm more interested in learning about Japan than I am learning about the United States. Or learning about these other countries. Because at one point, I kind of still do, but I kind of don't. Just like learn to grow and understand about what you have in life, and just grow and learn from other cultures by studying people from actually that country, and not just like go learn about Asia. It's like I'm sitting here and learn a little bit about China, to be example. Like China's not like something that that just because we think China's a bad place doesn't mean that China's a bad place. Like not everybody in China is bad. Not everybody in China is a bad person. Not everybody in these countries. There are a lot of people like, there's this guy that basically left to go to Russia and thought that he was going to have to escape war, but now he's going to war in Russia. And it's like you choose to come to escape because you choose to escape you want to choose to escape LGBTQ. Now you have to go and fight. It's like you shouldn't have escaped. You don't have to agree. You don't have to care about LGBTQ in its existence, but if nobody cares about the current political climate or cares about it, then you're in no way, shape, or form. It's like if you don't want to support this country, and you are a like if you are somebody that doesn't want to support this country because you live here, well then why don't you just go back to your home country and actually fix it. Don't come here and expect to support this country, expect to help this country. If you, it's like one of the things that Glass. I talked with Glass about it last night or whatever, and it's like one of the things that that I told Glass, like I talked to Glass and said, well, you gotta realize that Glass. It's like, well, then why you're here? Why are you not making that effort to go because like, oh, he talks about that he wants to go to Florida. He wants to go and live in Florida and wants to go do these things, but then yet he's not finding a way to get himself to go back to his home country, to Guatemala. He wants, like, he's talked about it, and it's like, then you can still support your home country, but you live here. You have to find a way to fight the system or go along with it, or trying to get yourself to fix the situation. And it's like, if you don't want to fix the situation here, and you want to, and you're like, yeah, I have an out, I have a reason to leave. If you have that reason, then why? If you don't have that reason, why don't you figure out a way to do it? I'm not saying that I'm telling you that this is coming from somebody that I would rather, I want to support this country. I want to fight for this country until my last breath, because I want to keep this country the way that it should be. It should be freedom. It should be having the ability to give our freedom to choose what we want and what we want in life, but also making sure that, the government should have we should have a reason to fix it and get better at fixing our country, and not just, yes, there might be times where, you want to watch a certain content on the internet, you want to watch it, go right ahead and watch that corn, go right ahead. I'm not gonna go and block you from watching it, because even if it was something that, just, yes, of course I watch it too, but I'm saying, like, if you go out and watch this corn, and you're, but the your next door neighbor basically doesn't want you watching it, doesn't want you, your politician doesn't want you watching it, well then, they're stifling your freedom to choose, they're stifling your freedom to make that decision. There's, if your church tells you you shouldn't be watching it, that's your church. You should follow your church. You should follow, like, you say I want to stay in the church, figure out a way to follow it. And you have a right to choose what religion you want to be in. You have every right to choose whether to have that. You should have the right to choose to whether to have that abortion or not. You should have the right to choose to whether or not whether or not to have a gun or not. You should have the right to be able to read a book from, read Fahrenheit 451, read Harry Potter, read whatever book you want to read, okay? Or go shop wherever you want to shop, but and that's the freedom. That's what our freedom should be. Now, there are some things that are hidden behind freedom. That a lot of people don't seem to really get. A lot of people don't seem to understand that the freedom that you get is being able to. You should be able to have like that. Now, of course, there are some things where I don't want that to be a full extent. I will say I'm not a 100% for absolute freedom. Of course, there's a couple of things that I'm not for. How far do we gotta go? We need gas a little bit. So we're gonna just turn off right up here. and it's it's like I'll say a lot of times yeah, it should be changing about here any minute. Now, of course, I could go this way. Of course, and turn around up there and come back, but I think I will. Manage to wait. There we go, nicely done. We can get ourselves going here at least. You know, it's one of those things where it's like having the freedom to do most of anything you want. It's like the only thing I don't want freedom is like if like there's a couple things I don't want. Like first, I don't want the freedom to have anybody to go in and freely use my taxpayer money for going to a religious school or going to a private school, when there are a lot of kids out there that, you know, deserve to have that education. They deserve to have that education, and that's the truth on my end. But I believe, Salem, I could have easily come down this path, but I would have to go that way, so yeah, so we're doing it right. But you can't just go out there and expect to rely on everything to tell you this is the freedom that you know. You can't just rely on and say, oh well, this is freedom, this is the toy. Freedom is freedom to do whatever I want to do in most contexts. Like, I want to be able to have the freedom to, you know, I don't want to have, you know, some contexts where I don't want the freedom. I don't want the freedom for my taxpayers to be used for, you know, you shouldn't have the freedom to go out and kill people. You shouldn't have the freedom that as long as it doesn't go out and harm you, as long as it doesn't harm people, don't go out after it. It's not harming you to let somebody be transgender. Okay? There's gonna be times where you say, oh well I don't want it because I don't want it. It's like you can go and use a restroom, and you use this restroom. It's like they want to get rid of it because they say that that trans people are bad people because we are that big P word that people like to talk about. That, you know, I'm like, okay, but using a bathroom does not make it wrong if a trans person is going to use it. A man walking into a woman's restroom is going to do it whether or not is not going to stop it whether or not a man's going to continue to do it. A man's not going to care about, these people aren't going to care about the law anyway. It's like, why legislate somebody? Like, why don't we, instead of putting bathrooms like it's multiple occupancy bathrooms, why don't we just start reconfiguring our bathrooms to make sure that the sinks are out in one place and the toilets are in the other, and that men and women are co-equal in all bathrooms? It's like those are the places that, you know, that are actually a lot better and a lot, because there's going to be times, like if you're at airports and stuff, that's fine. A lot of people are going through the airport anyway. A lot of people are going through it. Those are the places where that's not good, where it's going to be less likely for somebody to go out and do it, because there's going to be multiple people there. There's going to be ways that you can prevent that, because, you know, there's going to be evidence. There's going to be camera. You can use cameras in that bathroom where you couldn't do it before, because, you know, you have all these stalls. Well now if you see that two people are going into the same bathroom and they pretty much look old enough for both of them, then it's like, okay, it's not like you're not going anywhere. Or just put on all single occupancy bathrooms and just call them unisex and be done with it, and have only single sex spaces like all the time. And it's like, okay, that would make it so much more easier. It would give people the opportunity to And so you got to think about the stuff that goes on and the stuff that gets talked about. It's like, you can't just stop talking about a thing because you don't agree with talking about the appropriate decision. Like, you can't just, with the freedom, it's like not everything should be fully free to do whatever we want to do. It shouldn't be like the Purge in any way, shape, or form. the free. We should be able to, you know, I should be able to have the freedom to watch whatever I want to watch, the freedom to play whatever I want to play, the freedom to read a book, the freedom to choose a school wherever I want to go, free of having to have taxpayers pay for it. You know, unless it's like a public school that, you know, underprivileged kids can't go to a private school because, you know, if you can afford a private school, then you. On it, and it's like, if I would like to be able to have the sense of, I don't want my taxpayer money going to a church that I don't support, you know? It's like, I don't care if you're no, I'm gonna go to photo mode. Photo mode, sometimes I will mainly try to pick a thing from, you know, when I do photos. It's like I look at something, I'm gonna, okay, I want that to be my photo for the next video. What I do with my thumbnails, guys, when I do your American Truck or Euro Truck, is I always take that video, the previous screenshot from the previous video, and I upload it to the next one. Thanks, Moses, for joining. Were you trying to turn? Because if you were, you could have. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna upgrade this at least. And I mean, maybe we'll do another one where we'll start over and we'll go full Mac, or we'll go full Volvo. Pick another. Gotta make that white turn. That's gonna tell me to take it that way there. Go. Nice and done. You know what? I'll apply for that one on it, because I think I have enough right now that, you know, I can still get further enough. You know, I typically just left my people on to balance. Now let me go down to company. I mean, services. Okay. This is where we can go and rest. Get our vehicle fixed up a little bit. Let's go check services. Nothing needed there. Truck configurator. Thanks Holly Smith for joining the TikTok live. Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna cost me at least 53 and I don't have enough for it. Yeah, I don't got, you know, just allows for better, heavier cargo. I just like the standard on that. Put a trans flag there. Put a trans flag there as that, and then we can why do I need that there? Nice, I'll throw the metal deflector there. I'm wondering, I am going chrome. $250 gallon there. I'm not going too standard. Double. I leave some of these. I leave standard. Okay. Okay, so that's basically their standard, but yeah. But if I went like that, okay, double there, and if I clear out the whole thing, right? And we just go back to our normal order. I already have the highest transmission available to me, so the only thing I'm going to add are the flags. On here. Add as much pride as I can. Decab roof. Deflector. Okay. Okay. Chrome with air filters. And then trans flag. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today, though. Because we are gonna get off. And now we've got our deflector. We've got everything that I need for this truck. You know, sometimes we're gonna have to fix it, but I think just naturally, we have 27 now. I'm gonna rest at least once more, because I don't want to be out at night. And we're down. We have basically received $100. Nope. Not even gonna load yet. What is today's date? It's live. 7/23/2025. Alright, guys. So that's gonna be it. Make sure you guys are followed. Make sure you guys are subscribed here on the wonderful, lovely YouTube. And also, you guys can check out today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Christian Satori. Alright, you guys, today's sponsor is Christian Satori. Christian Satori. You can go use the code. You guys can buy some of the best shoes around. You guys can buy some of the best shoes around. Canvas. You guys can also buy classic black canvas. So much canvas. Cool, you guys can also buy it in fuchsia. Cool. So much cool shit. Trust me. Cool gear. These are a fantastic brand. Trust me. But you guys not only can you buy shoes, you can also buy. But you guys not only can you buy shoes, you can also buy some cool clothing as well. Clothing does include. If you guys want to use gear as well, the code. If you guys want to use ROG at checkout, the code Christian Satori. ROG at checkout gaming ROG Christian Satori.com. Slash gaming at checkout, put gaming. Go to that and click down that link. Rocks. When you check out, now remember, you might be able to get 10% off your order today. Now remember, you might be able to get 15% off with the code. Off your order today. Only if you buy 2 products. 15% off with the code. You can get only if you buy 2 products. Remember, cool puffer jackets. You can get some cool, cool socks, squint t-shirt, cool puffer jackets, cool gear. cool socks, squint t-shirt, cool
everything
cool
here
gear.
is not super expensive, but it is not inexpensive either.
Everything here is not super expensive,
but it is not inexpensive either. Down there,
so you guys remember
links down in the comments
down there.
Satori
Matterrocks. Use code
Satori
Gaming
Matterrocks
at checkout to get
Gaming
Matterrocks.
5%
Use
off your
code
order.
Gaming Matterrocks at checkout to get 5% off your order. Well, guys, you guys can, if you guys want to see other content, like I said, hit that subscribe. On YouTube, make sure you hit that bell notification to all, so you can stay up to with all things gaming. Matty Rocks. We talk politics, we talk, we play games. We pretty much do both of those. Talk technology, mostly politics though, and mostly driving truck. But I will tell you this, there are going to be some other things that if you guys want to check out, you guys can check out my my Sneakers channel as well, Sneakers Matty Rocks. If you guys are watching on Trovo or TikTok, make sure you guys are followed there. Following is free, by the way. Subscribing is free on YouTube, but is not free on Trovo. Trovo does require you to pay a little bit, but you do get some cool emotes, just like a membership. But anyway, it's like a membership on YouTube or a membership on TikTok. So anyway, we'll catch you